Hi everybody, I'm Dominik Heinz, and Dennis Schindeler is based on health issues not available right now, today and yesterday. And I try my best to present also the topics from our end customer CureLab. And now we want to go for orthotic topics right now. And for those who don't know Druckerfachmann, we are based in Berlin, and we are solution supplier for orthotic companies who want to use additive manufacturing for producing some kind of orthosis. We are performing the transformation over 25 years because we are coming from the managed print services like 2D printing, and we have the challenge to transform our company with dedicated new business units like 3D printing, and I'm responsible for the 3D printing unit. And that's why we see that the transformation for small and medium customers like the classical OMP business have to have challenges which we try our best to understand the end customer and show them how they can go additive for the orthotic market. And some of you already know us from some trade shows, leading trade shows like 2022, the OT World, or this year, the Orthotic Shoe trade show. And we are there to show the people and the person there how you can deal and how you generate orthotics with printed additive ways. We also perform some interviews in some magazines, which we are producing. That is not a rocket science to producing printed orthotics. And here are some small overview of customers that they rely on our solutions. And on top of it, you see the three larger O&P providers in Germany, which are using our solutions. And here, based on the topic 3D printing that we are discussed the last 2 days, that will be split in three pillars, like the orthotic and prosthetic market that we are focusing, the topic of jigs and fixtures for all the medical devices, and dental and surgery. Right now we are focusing on the O&P topic here. And to understand the problems about small and medium orthotic companies in Germany, we show them what should be a realistic way to start additive and thinking additive. And therefore, we have to ask them some questions that you see here on the side. Why you want to use 3D printing in your business? Do you have resources and skills? Everybody knows that we have a problem with skilled, trained experts in Germany. And that's also a question. Do you have the resources in your company? Then, do you are able to generate printed files? What about scanning, for example? It's a very important topic. And what material can be used and is suitable for medical applications like the orthotic topics? And what is the environment? How much space do you need? What is the power supply, etc., etc.? And that's that you see that you have to educate, first of all, the people who want to start with. Then you go for applications. You find some applications. It's a requirement that you have applications. Then you go typically to a service bureau, which can print some parts. And then you buy your own 3D printer. And then afterwards, at the end of the day, you have to think about your digital strategy and your digital supply chain in your company. So here is an overview of the HP system that can be provide a digital workbench for larger scale demand of orthotic applications. Here you see you have different kind of machines which work together. In the last sessions there was one word cloud, which was written. We need an automatic process for additive products, and here you see this is a base for automatic processes which can used for orthotic parts. And a bit deep dive how a digital workbench could look like in a small and medium company. Here is a draft that we produce or we support our companies, starting from 3D scanning. You need a scanner solution. So the next step is you have the digital point cloud, you have to reconstruct it, you have to model it and create a valid orthotic. Then you have to prepare all the 3D printed files to put it to the printer. And then in this way you see that's a powder bed solution, a powder bed workflow that we are providing right here. On top you have the Formlab solution, which Schindeler also have today, a very nice presentation, thanks for it. And below with Fabian Schuster, he's already here, he produced the HP system right here, and it's dedicated on the demand for the orthotic companies. And here you can see, you can go down or below, and we are the provider who can looking deep dive what is the process, what you're required in your company, orthotic company. And at the end of the day, it's not important that you have only a printed part, like this one, for example. It's important that you have a final product. And that's why a post-process is also required, and you have to think about what should be a good and reliable post-process for your company. So, and here, for example, what should be a good surface quality for your patient? And here I have an example, and afterwards you can also, I can give it to you and you give an insight. Here, when you print a part, for example, it looks gray in the first step. Then you can dye it in black, for example, or you can adjust the surface quality. Maybe for in the middle, like the surface quality, with ceramic bead blasting, which are putting on top. Or you can smooth the part like this one. And here you see, it's also it's a TPU in this example. That's the core, the rough part, which is only sandblasted or bead blasted, and this is vapor smoothed. And so you are able to design your specific application at the end of the day, and which have to prepare it for a medical technician afterwards to make the patient care. Here are some numbers about the roughness, the surface roughness, when it's come out of the HP system, for example. And then you go step by step. You have a very rough surface, and then you can bead blast it, or you can vapor smooth it, for example. And then it's depending on the requirement for the end customer. Then we can also dye the parts. That means you can put color on it, because here in this example you have a black application, but you can also switch between when you print in gray HP parts with 17 dedicated colors, or you can also dye the parts based on the white HP material, which is launching last year. And so you can decide for your company what is a good workflow. And here the other colors when you have a gray base part printed. But the important thing that everybody see today and yesterday is that we need tested material according to the MDR. And here in the orthotic topic, generally it's only class 1, so I think it's easy. We have certified materials here, all the complete workflow that we are using and offering. And here's only a short subset of the general materials which we can use. For example, biocompatibility is available for polyamide 11, polyamide 12, for PP, polypropylene, and for TPU, for example. Only to give you a rough overview of it. And then, what is the demand that you can print day by day, week by week, etc., etc. And therefore, we make a small calculation of an HP build chamber. And here you see this kind of application. You can place 24 of them in one print job. You have a printing time of around 10 hours and 22 minutes, and it takes around 30 up to 60 minutes for operation time. And you have a cooling time. The cooling time and the printing time is near the same, depending on the final workflow that you use. Only to give you a rough insight. And then we have a second example. It's like the insoles topic. It's also a very important topic that we also have. Like this is an insole, and here it's flexible, it's polyamide 11, and here you can print in one build chamber 115 of these insoles job by job. You have a pack density of 10% in this example, and so if you have a higher demand for printed parts, then this gives you a rough overview how you can work with it. If you want more information about the digital work chain can look like, here is the scanning code to us, to a Druckerfachmann.de, and now I will switch over to Dennis Schindeler's presentation. And give me 1 second. I think the technic has to change it. Yes, thank you. No. Go back. Here, this is Dennis Schindeler. Dennis Schindeler is orthotic technical master, and he's the CEO and founder from the company CureLab. He's one of our customers in the O&P market, and he started with this company to make something a bit different than the older companies do right now. Dennis Schindeler is 29 years old, and he presents what is the classical production for an orthotic application or an orthotic part. We have the cast, the model, the dry, the plastic. Then you need a second model. You have to dry it again. You make some carbon to-dos to complete it, and then fitting for the patient. That's the classical workflow which is required to complete an orthotic. Now, the digital workflow can be looked like this. You reduce it from 9 parts or steps to only six steps. That means you scan, then you construct, and then you print the part. You can print even more parts in the evening, and then in the morning you come to your workplace, and then you can complete the requirement topics that an orthotic engineer have to do, because the point is that with 3D printing you get a new tool to produce even more and in a quicker way orthotics. Then you make the carbon to-dos and complete it and make the fitting for the patient, and then it's done. So what are the current problems for CureLab? So we have the problem, or they have the problem, that they have a demographic change. So person who have the knowledge in an orthotic getting older and older, and now you have to change something. So the need for supplies is increasing. That means everything is increasing, and also the supplies topics are increasing. Less trained skills for the workers, that I also tell you within a few minutes, that the skills of the orthotic technician have to train very deep dive to do all these 9 steps to complete the fulfillment for the patient care. And cost increasing, uncompleted or uncompensated with the health insurance system. That's also a problem. So the price will be increased, but the insurances are not pay for this amount of change, of price changing. So and the consequential problems is long waiting times for the patients. The strains of employees is extremely high, and shortened time slots to produce and finalize these orthotics, and now they want better focus for the patient with this digital workflow. And the vision for CureLab is 3D printing is an advanced digital tool for the orthotic technicians of tomorrow. That means they get a support for the complete process. And here, CureLab don't print even more only these orthotics. They're thinking about what should be a good and qualified process behind this printing process. They also realizing a system that the dedicated orthotic, the Sanitätshäuser that we hear also today, that they send, for example, 3D models to CureLab, and then they place a QR code on it, and then they store all the information which is required for the medical device regulation, or if something's happened with the part, and then they can realize which day, which material, is there any tensile strength part also available to see if the material works good or not, or if there something happened with that, or they have to print it again, this part. And they also, below that printing stuff, they also have a workflow who make it easier to validate what is the part behind it, what has happened with the part, what was the material, etc., etc. Yeah, is the digital workflow the solution? That was a question. And here I called yesterday Dennis, and he told me the major point is that we don't want to reduce the time to create parts. We want to use time and use the time for the patients. That the orthotic technicians are using the time for the patients, to care the patients, and that's the important step. Then when you use for additive manufacturing, you can use it, and then you take time for the persons and for the patients. And yeah, here a short overview of QLab's general terms. Like the team is now 6 employees. It's based in Hamburg. 3D printing for medical industries. They are only focusing in medical industries, and they printed TPU and polyamide 11. Yes, and what they can deliver is like printed purpose model for shoe last, pre-preg production for deep drawing and casting, and some other things like small and serious production with TPU and PA11. And if you want, they can dye and color it in 117 colors if you want, and if it's required. So, thanks for your attention.
Dominik, thank you very much. 2 minutes left, 2 questions. Short answer, please. When dyeing the materials, are there any possibility that the color could fall off during fixed sterilization?
No, it's not fall off, because here in the dyeing process, it goes deep dyeing. It's a deep dyeing process. That means you have around 0.2 millimeters. The nylon color will go deep dive into this material, in this part.
Thank you. And the second question, when packing density is 10% and you can use 80% residual powder, what do you do with the last 10%?
The last 10%, so if you have a pack density of 10%, that's correct in this example, then you use only 20% fresh powder and 80% old powder to have the right mixture to produce the parts. And the other 10% are going straight to the system, that don't meet that we have some garbage or some dedicated material which have to goes on a right way or not correct way. You use all the material which is not fused in this example with the 10%, and you put only 20% fresh material on top of it and 80% old material, and that's the mixture to produce it.
Dominik, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.